Welcome to the new chapter of Managing in a Global Environment. Nearly 70% of executives and management professionals say that developing global competencies is very important or extremely important to the future success of their companies. Going global is something that most organizations want to do. A study of U.S. manufacturing firms found that companies operating in multiple countries had twice the sales growth and significantly higher profitability than strictly domestic firms. There are many contributing factors to success. Among them is an innate global bias. However, if managers don't closely monitor changes in the global environment or don't consider specific location characteristics as they plan, organize, lead, and control, they may find limit global success. In this chapter, we are going to discuss the issues managers face as they manage in a global environment. So, the first question is, what is your global perspective? There are three main possible global perspectives. The first one is globalization, which essentially means developing influence or doing business in other countries. The primary assumptions are open borders and free trade with minimal or no government intervention are necessary to take full advantage of globalization. The second one is nationalism, which is the counterpoint to globalization. It advocates for independence from other countries. The last one is parochialism, which views the world solely through one's own eyes and perspectives. People with a parochial attitude don't recognize that others have different ways of living and working. They ignore others' values and customs and rigidly apply an attitude of ours is better than theirs to foreign cultures. In fact, there are three possible global attitudes, so let's look at each more closely. First, an ethnocentric attitude is the parochial belief that the best work, approaches, and practices are those of the home country, the country in which the company's headquarters are located. Managers with an ethnocentric attitude believe that people in foreign countries don't have the needed skills, expertise, knowledge, or experience to make business decisions as well as people in the home country do. They don't trust the foreign employees with key decisions or technology. Next, a polycentric attitude is the view that employees in the host country, the foreign country in which the organization is doing business, know the best work approaches and practices for running their business. Managers with this attitude view every foreign operation as different and hard to understand. Thus, they are likely to let employees in those locations figure out how best to do things. The final type of global attitude managers might have is a geocentric attitude, a world-oriented view that focuses on using the best approaches and people from around the globe. Managers with this type of attitude have a global view and look for the best approaches and people regardless of origin. A geocentric attitude requires eliminating parochial attitudes and developing an understanding of cross-cultural differences. This is the type of approach successful managers will need in today's global environment. Globalization goes in and out of favor. After the First World War, nations became more protectionist, while after the Second World War, the trend toward globalization started. Until recently, it was in favor, and most recent events pushed for greater globalization. Global trade among nations doesn't just happen on its own. As trade issues arise, global trade systems ensure that trade continues efficiently and effectively. Indeed, One of the realities of globalization is the interdependence of countries. That is, what happens in one can impact others, good or bad. There are 4 important global trade mechanisms: the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank Group, and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and also numerous agreements, institutions, and events pushed for the development of globalization. For instance, World Economic Forum is a Swiss non-profit foundation that brings world leaders together each year to discuss factors of common interest. Shanghai Cooperation Organization, an 8-nation group pledges to promote free trade among other goals. At the same time, global competition and the global economy are shaped by regional trading agreements, including the European Union, North American Free Trade Agreement, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and others. The illustration shows the positions of the BOP in the years 1940, 2015, and 2020 as follows. In 1940, nationalism and starts to going closer to the globalism until 2015. British vote to exit EU in 2016, also known as Brexit. The vote was in response to nationalist feelings in the UK. Trans-Pacific Partnership was a trade agreement among Pacific Rim countries that fell apart for lack of support. All of these events indicate a pendulum swing back toward nationalism and away from globalization. So, till the year of 2020, it is between nationalism and globalism, but still closer to globalism. So that's all of this session. Thank you.